welcome to Activations with JJ. Yatikido Koshianarakaya. I'm excited to be here with you for this very special Aquarian Solar Dragon transmission. And as you notice, this is not a normal transmission. I am not just immediately taking you into the activation. I would like to preface it with a little bit of information. So I was drawn to create a special transmission this week connected to Pluto going into Aquarius. And at first, I was planning on doing an Arcturian transmission, Codes of Unity Consciousness. But I sat with that and realized that I needed to change the name to Aquarian. Now, I did not realize at the time what the meaning of that was until later on when I stumbled upon some information in the Ascension Glossary, which I have mentioned before on the podcast. For any of you who have explored the Ascension Glossary, it has many rabbit holes for you to go down. And typically I read it because I know there is terminology in there that is needing to be seeded into my consciousness and into my framework so that those words can come through when I'm channeling. I don't always fully even comprehend the depth of what is in there because there is so much, but I do know that even just reading certain terms or phrases is very activating. And so that's actually why I'm prefacing the Solar Dragon activation today with this information about Aquarian Solar Dragons. I'd like to go ahead and just read a little bit from this entry in the Ascension Glossary, which the link is below if you need that and are visual and would like to access it too. So essentially what is talking about is the idea of the newly introduced aspect of the cosmic Christos solar dragon of the Aquarian dragon Ouroboros line of our planet. And so what this entry talks about is an understanding of exploration of dragon body parts. I will tell you personally that I have been experiencing the reactivation of the dragon light body in many different gatherings over this last year, predominantly 2024. So this is not surprising to me. What the entry talks about is that the Aquarian solar dragon aspect of our Holy Father is interacting with us and giving us information to understand more about his solar dragon parts, how he expresses himself, how we interact with him, or can or are invited to as it feels in alignment to our heart and to our mind and to our body. Obviously, this is in direct alignment to our natural progression and feeling of what feels natural and aligned to us personally. Now, the cosmic Christos sons send forth their ray principles and astrological correspondences through the 13 primary dragon bodies enmeshed within the planetary matrix. So now we're at a stage where Aquarian Solar Dragon of Holy Father, so the Solar Rishik founder Holy Father principle comes into the embodiment through the Aquarian Solar Dragon and reminds me of the Solar Logos body and then further reminds me of the Aquarian Meridian project that directly impacts the Gallbladder Meridian, the astral plane, the 2D, 4D split. I'm going to stop right there. All of that was a quote. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. I immediately want to let you know that if you've already listened to my Pluto in Aquarius podcast, a fascinating message came through the Council of Planetary Movement all about the sun and the solar feminine and the solar masculine. And when I read the entry that I just read to you, it was after I had already channeled that. And I was so confused when I channeled that, to be completely honest. I put it out there and I was like, what? I don't understand exactly what they're saying, but I'm just going to put it out there and see what everybody thinks. So now it's all coming together that this age of Aquarius, this Aquarian energy, is helping us better connect to this solar energy. And there's even more that's coming forward for December 2024. and I'm going to share with you later in my energy update. But what was fascinating is that if you remember, the Pluto and Aquarius podcast talked about not only connecting with the solar masculine, which is what we're used to connecting with, but reminding us to connect with the solar feminine. Well, there's something about the Holy Father here. And so it's like, well, wait a minute, but the Holy Father would be the masculine. And then I immediately heard, no, there's a distorted father template that is not holding the feminine, but the aligned father, Holy Father template embodies both the feminine and the masculine. The feminine and the we just have a lot of programming around that. The yin and the yang. And so allowing ourselves to reconnect and repair the father wound, which is all part of restoring the divine family template, which came forward in September, but in my personal opinion, has taken us longer to fully capture. And that's something else that I feel will be coming up through December, January. The divine masculine is coming forward as a big theme again. And we're in a phase of reconnecting with the father energy and the Holy Father here, but just repairing the father wound. So these are all concepts, again, that I'm putting into your awareness so that you can begin to call in the information that you need as you are going about your ascension journey. And the interesting thing was this whole gallbladder piece, because I was reminded as I was tuning in that Pluto in Aquarius is reflected in our physical bodies. And there's probably one of you listening to this who knows more about astrology than I do and how it's connected to the body. But I just want you to think for a moment of what organs, and again, this gallbladder came through here in this entry, so it's probably got to do with that. But it's fascinating because the gallbladder principle in our physical body is ruled by the Aquarian line. It's connected to our mental powers. The consciousness body and substance of our mental mind matrices are connected directly to the gallbladder principle. This is understanding the Aquarian overlay. The Aquarian principles and laws give us mental power, mental substance. Now, taking this further, the gift of our mental bodies, the ability to think, to have critical thinking, to have thought substance, this is what the Holy Father reminds us. This is the gift of our body, to give us mental powers of critical thinking, to discern, to see. Because in the power of thought, we can think something out in the analysis of a situation. We don't actually have to, let's say, experience it directly always, but we can think it out. We can, in our mind, imagine what it would be to think out various analyses of situations and then conclude various outcomes based on these imaginings. This is part of our critical thinking. So all of this is connected to our gallbladder principle and the Aquarian line, the Aquarian meridian, the Aquarian solar dragon. All of this is interrelated. Taking a pause, that's the quote. It's really fascinating because today I had a YouTube ad come up for me from the brand Masterclass. I'm sure some of you have seen that brand. They typically take luminaries and thought leaders and, celebrities, even very famous artists, and they will create courses based on certain topics. And do you know who popped up as the one they were promoting for me? Noam Chomsky. And I don't know how many of you know Noam Chomsky, but he is a philosopher that has been around since like the middle of last century and has come forward in many different theories. I was studying linguistics in college, and I know that we connected with his theories there. But his whole commercial, the YouTube ad, was about critical thinking. And my guide said, pay attention to this ad. Pay attention. there's something about what he's saying that's important. And then, of course, I create this podcast. I find this Aquarian Solar Dragon thing, and here we go. So very, very fascinating. I hope that some of what I'm sharing with you will plant seeds in your awareness to help you explore a little bit deeper. And I also hope that those of you who are listening and potentially can hop over to YouTube if you're on the Spotify or Apple, if you go to YouTube, that's where we can share in the comments some of what our personal channel is tuning into about this subject. So with that being said, I'm going to move right into the light language activation. This is an Aquarian Solar Dragon transmission for you. If you would like just the transmission by itself in a 30-minute length, I do have that available in my store, and you can click on the link below because sometimes I know we like to just have that part without the talking, so you can put it on when you go to sleep. So that is what we're going to do. Take a deep breath, get comfortable, you know the drill. And here is our Aquarian Solar Dragon light language activation. Morendo erai somniai royai Angyai koroyanaya Angyai koroyanaya Kiyash Mungianio Mungianio Oraitai Mushatan yadumal vajam yaniu Hamyan wani moi mul moi mun moi naeko Yan yetukuya koya magada Kiumwani mon yayo Kiamun yai Kiamun yai Kashu Kokai gajazum dorkajia sanyai Mungar tujum omyai Gela joko gorem dai Garijo yanamuro yandai Agajiza Gojazam Korakatikan kiada kakaya. Korakatikan kokorean yakataraya. Korakatikan kotokarayan dokosha tikiri kosha trikarakoshi. Angashgoya Yashoyam Hiya Goisha Agishi Sumbarakata Arakoshi Sanamrakara Kotea Arakoshi Santoyara Yamana Kataraya Yashosaki Aladoja Ziyamana Aladoja Ziyamanan Aladoja Ziyamanana Kiakoya Aladoja Ziyamnanaya Aladoja Ziyamnanaya Akiakoya Aguya Kanya Shuyatikia Morendo erai somniai joyai Angyai koroyanaya Angyai koroyanaya Kiyash kutu 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 Mungianio. Mungianio. Oraitai. Yakoya. Shuyutukuya. 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 Mushatan yadumbar bayram yanio. Yan wan moi mul moi mun moi na yeko. Yan yetuko ya koya magara. Kiumuanin mon yayo. Kiamun yayo. Kiamun yayo. Kashu utu. Kokai gajazum dorakaji asanyaya. Mungar tuju momyai. Gela jukukurem dai. Kariju yanamuro yandai. Agijiza kujazam nukoyed. Kurakatikan kiata kakaya. Kurakatikan kokorean yakataraya. Kurakatikan kotokarayan dokoshati kiri koshatri karakoshi. Angashgoya. Angashgoya. Yajoyam ya goya. Agishi somarakata. Arakoshi sanamrakarakote. Arakoshi santoyara yamanakataraya yashoso. Aladoja ziyamana, aladoja ziyamana. Aladoja ziyamanana. Kiakoya. Aladoja ziyamnananaya. Aladoja ziyamnananaya. Akiakoya. Aguya kanya. Shuyatikia. Ingarai. Yatoko ingarai.